Hello and welcome to Fresh Face One Shots. My name is Joey.
And I'm Jacob.
And today we are back with the Summer DC event of 2024, Absolute Power. This is Absolute Power number 3. Jacob, I was not a giant fan of this issue. I thought it was okay. I think it kind of lost me though a little bit.
I didn't dislike it, but I think
we're now at that point where not reading certain tie-ins might be affecting our enjoyment of this.
I'm like, you put stuff in. I could tell you put stuff in the tie-ins.
I can tell you for a fact is that whole thing about Gamora Island, like that's a GL tie-in thing, and thankfully I just caught up on the GL tie-ins today actually.
And I think John Kent got his own tie-in. I think
was that no. You mean Cyborg John Kent?
Yeah.
What would that have been in?
I think there was one called like Super Sun.
Oh, really? I totally missed that coming out. Anyway, point being, still a good issue. Let's actually get into it. We open on some Hawkgirl. We have actually some really solid Amanda Waller fail-safe Queen Brainiac scenes. Sort of like catching us up on where they're sort of at. You can sort of start seeing their plans. You know, the cracks in their plan here, which is kind of nice. But also, after the escape from the Fortress of Solitude, most of our heroes are reconvening on Themyscira, which is really cool to see here. I've really enjoyed a lot of these early Themyscira scenes. I think these are like the strongest bits of the issue, aside from one particular panel towards the end that I think had Twitter going insane. But yeah, this is really cool. I liked, especially like Nightwing in these early Themyscira scenes. I like seeing.
Yeah, I love Dick Grayson being a leader.
Yeah,
I love that.
Actually, I of Twitter, actually, I saw there was some discourse about that. People like complaining that Dick Grayson was being built up as a leader. It's like, no, that's exactly who he is. Like that's what him becoming Nightwing, leader of the Titans, and now here, like that's what it's all about. Like that was the point of his character until a million resets happened. And so seeing this here, I think it's really great, really nice, especially like him coming into conflict with someone like Big Barda here. Like I think that is such an important scene here that I think like really lays out like where he's at in direct conflict with these other characters, but still putting him in that leadership position. It's really cool. I really enjoy seeing that. But yeah, we're all sort of
here's the thing. After this point, the issue just kind of feels a little overstuffed.
Yeah, because we make a couple of different like hero teams to go off and do different things, and a lot of those are clearly tie-in things. And so once we do that,
like by the end, I feel like the final issue is being sort of a switch, almost like into something different, if it makes sense. Like,
well, here is my thing: is that I could assuming this is still meant to be some kind of lead into the Absolute Universe, I have no fucking clue how that's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
So I would assume the last issue. I kind of always assumed the last issue was going to take some sort of weird fucking left turn into let's create another fucking universe kind of thing. But also, I think that a lot of that is actually going to be left up to the All-In special coming out near soonish. I think is that later this month or early next month. I want to say it's early next month. But yeah. So I imagine a lot of that's left for this. But yeah, I think we're heading towards something very different for the last issue. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it does kind of make issue 3 of this event kind of like wrap up pretty quickly, because once we have these heroes set off and like on these different teams doing these individual missions, we see Failsafe kicking ass, we see Waller kind of freaking out, and then we start jumping around a lot between these different heroes and what they're doing here.
Almost honestly, almost too quickly for my tastes. Like
yeah, that was kind of my problem. Yeah, I thought. I liked this Flash bit actually pretty early on in this segment.
Wally West in this issue is great.
Yeah, because he gets this message from a mysterious voice about Waller's prison on Gamora Island, which we did see a bit about in the Wonder Woman tie-in that we covered. But yeah, seeing that a bit more directly here in the event is interesting. I'm also curious who that is. I thought of a couple things, but every time I came up with a theory, I was like, no, that doesn't quite work, does it? So I don't know. I guess we'll find out. I'm assuming we'll find out. I could be totally wrong. We also get I did also like the bit with Aquaman's team, with them fighting Bizarro and Bizarro having the Black Mercy on him. I thought that was a fun little segment. But again, these are more like vignettes of scenes rather than full scenes. These are things that I'm sure, because they're mostly tie-ins, deserve full issues to themselves. But they don't get that because it's just a little segment of one issue, which has its advantages and disadvantages.
I also can't tell if Time Commander, who was set up in the in our lead-ins to the event really well.
Oh, in Ground Zero, yeah.
Yeah, in Ground Zero. I can't tell if he's been featuring in the tie-ins. Probably, yeah. I hope so, because it looks like we're kind of wrapping his stuff up in one page, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah. Things are wrapping up really quickly, and it's kind of hard to follow.
Yeah, that was my problem with a lot of the middle of this issue.
I will say I love pretty much all the stuff with Amanda Waller, as everything seems to be falling apart around her.
And eventually the issue does finally slow down again once we get back to Themyscira and we start following our heroes that are still there as the Queen Brainiac attacks and our Cyborg John attacks, and we sort of have our final showdown here. I really did enjoy this last scene. I thought it was very, very cool. We see sort of this great conflict between Barda and Nightwing once again surfacing, as Barda is ready to just take out John Kent there and then with a kryptonite bullet, and John has to stop her. In fighting John here, and Nightwing using his humanity more to get through to John, we have the Queen Brainiac here sort of getting involved here, and watching John kind of break through that, I thought was one of the coolest moments of this issue, probably of the whole event. I really
I'm not entirely sold on exactly how he got through it, mainly because it's just a little confusing again, because it starts to then jump to the Brainiac Queen, to Waller,
to also Batman, which is directly coming off of the Batman tie-ins, which again, you're gonna be totally lost on if you're.
Yeah. So it was Bruce's involvement that threw me the most. But I know you've been reading the Batman tie-ins because you've been reading.
Yeah, this is all there. But obviously, for you, I'm sure it just completely went over your head.
I do love Clark hugging his son.
That's the fucking panel right there.
I really hope Joshua Williamson can pick up on this a little bit.
Yeah. We also don't know how Neron is tying directly into the rest of this with his appearance at the end of the last Superman issue.
That's right, because because I do think the next Superman tie-in's actually supposed to take place
after this.
Either after this or concurrent with this.
Okay.
Because it was because if you remember in the Superman tie-in, it was continued in both Absolute Power 3 and the next Superman issue. So I'm guessing there might be some overlap. Because trying to fit in what you want to do in between 4-issue monthly event that has been coming out monthly consistently is a little tricky.
Yeah. Hey, also, you know what I'm realizing, actually? The Flash that got the message from the mysterious figure, I don't think that was Wally.
Was it Barry?
I'm pretty sure that was Barry, because if you look at the end of the issue here, Wally's still in the different suit that they gave everyone in the Fortress of Solitude. Yeah, so that must have been Barry early on. Yeah.
We're getting Barry Allen as a herald of other universes again.
Classic. Love it. But also, I did love the little 2-panel scene between Batman and Star towards the end here. I thought that was really cool. But then we also end the issue on this great little tease as Barry goes, we do our little multiversal tease, as I'm guessing again this is our Absolute Universe tease at Waller Supermax prison that we have going on here.
It honestly, it feels like it's going into left field.
Little bit. That's kind of my thing, is I'm having a hard time really drawing a line between the story that Mark Waid set up here, which is still very cool. I love Waller's attack on the heroes and their powers, but I'm just having a really hard time relating that to let's create another fucking universe and have that be our setup for a big line of DC Comics. So I don't know. It's a problem that I'm personally finding, but again,
I will say also, we it's a shame we haven't mentioned it. Of course, Dan Mora.
Dan fucking Mora, yeah,
is amazing on art, especially in that Clark John hug, and
so good.
Kind of pushing this broken image of John Kent, and bloodied, without making it too graphic, but still implying a lot.
Yeah, definitely. So, oh god, good stuff. But overall, I did mostly enjoy the issue. I'm a little confused / worried as to where the final issue is going, which unfortunately I feel is exactly what ended up happening in our Night Terrors coverage as well.
Yeah, welcome to the it's the event problem. It's the event comics problem.
Yeah. But also, but I also find, for myself, I'm usually not nearly as bothered by these things because I usually do read a lot of the tie-ins and you don't. So, maybe that's more of me thing. I did read significantly less tie-ins for this event than I did for Night Terrors. Just on my own personal readings, but whatever. All right, I think that about does it. So, thanks so much for watching, everyone. In the meantime, before our next one, be sure to check out other Fresh Face one-shots that we do. We cover Superman by Joshua Williamson, Wonder Woman by Tom King, both of which have tie-ins to Absolute Power here. We also cover Batman the Brave and the Bold by Various, which we have a new video coming out on in the coming days, as well as the current Batman miniseries, Death in the Family, Robin Lives, the alternate timeline in which Jason Todd lived. Also later this month, we're starting our coverage on Batman The Last Halloween, supposedly the last story of the long Halloween saga, which I'm very excited for. And then, Marvel. We started covering The Uncanny X-Men by Gail Simone, which has its second issue coming out very soon. And speaking of Marvel, I started up a different series on the channel, just for my own personal readings, called Fresh Face Solos, where I talk about things that I just kind of read on my own time without Jacob. So I started covering X-Men by Jed McKay on there. You can check that out. The first video for that was a great time. I'm still catching up on the series currently, but so those will be slowly rolling out. And of course, check out the main podcast, Fresh Face Comics. We just put out, tomorrow, at the time of this coming out, tomorrow we're putting out a video, our episode on the second volume of Tom King's Batman, the Rebirth Deluxe Edition, plus the button, of course. So that'll all be there. And I think that about does it. Also, our link trees. That's the favorite one. Link trees. I always forget that one. Link trees will be down in the description below. Our socials, you can follow us wherever you want to follow us. And of course, subscribe to the channel, Bloodinna Studios. So thank you all so much for watching. Until next time, this has been Joey Morgan.
And Jacob Licklider.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.